morning, you motherfucker. Sun shines. Hey, what's going on, mofos? Welcome back to the channel, formerly known as Ivy Tat, now Saved by Mountains. Yes, I did decide to change my YouTube channel name just to streamline this shit across all platforms. And plus, I'm getting tired of explaining my fucking name in the YouTube comments. So, before we start, what the hell have I been up to? Well, I never left Dublin, Colorado. As soon as I got back from Sweden, found myself in Denver, decided to stay. Here I am, working 2 fucking jobs, wasting my life away, punching that damn time clock. But we'll make it through. I'm currently working. I've been going on like 35, 40 days in a row now without a day off. It's amazing. I haven't fucking lost my damn mind, but we're still kicking. I'm doing it for a good reason, and that's to get my ass back out on trail in 2025. So we'll keep plugging along until then. So, where will I be in 2025? Well, if you guys follow me on Instagram or on Patreon, you know this already, but I figured I'd drop the info here on YouTube since many of you mofos don't know how to do social media, which I can't really blame you, but 2025 spring, I will be hiking the Arizona Trail northbound between, I don't know, we start in March 15th to April 1st, somewhere in that window, depending on snowpack, I guess, in northern Arizona. But yeah, I've been looking at doing this trail for quite some time. And I've never been to Arizona, never seen the Grand Canyon, so when I generally go to a new state, I usually just hike across it, and that's what we're going to do. Start at the Mexican border and hike my happy ass up all the way to Mormon country, Utah. It should be fucking amazing. I am stoked for this trail. It gives me something to look forward to while I waste my life away here in the city, but we'll make it through, man. We're going to bring back an old series I did a couple years ago called Every Photo Has a Story. I have logged probably 17,000, 18,000 photos over the last 5 through hikes. And I used to pick an image or a few images I wanted to talk about, relive those memories, basically talk about what I was feeling during the images, what was going on the trail at the time, what was my experience. It's one of the main reasons I take so many photos is because I love reliving this stuff. I can look at a photo from 2018 on the Appalachian Trail, and that one single image will bring me back to that exact same spot and remember what I was feeling when I took it and why I took it. It's one of my favorite parts of photography. Let's go back to Scotland and start talking about some of these images I took during that hike and see what I can fucking remember, or maybe these images will jar a memory that has been locked away for the last couple of years. I suppose the best place to start is at the beginning. We'll go all the way back before I even started the trail. This is downtown Edinburgh, Scotland. Beautiful city, the land of where people talk funny. You know, I didn't know anything about this castle before I went or when I was actually there. I just thought it was a cool fucking castle, so I wanted to take a picture of it. But I never actually went up to the castle. Obviously, you can go take the tour and stuff like that. But there's a nice little bike path along the river there in downtown, which brings you up to this beautiful fountain here and the castle in the background. I thought this was a good spot to take a photo. So you probably can't tell from the image, but I'll put a video clip in here for you. There was this bird on top of this fountain. I didn't even know that bird was there when I was taking photos, but then I decided to take some video for B-roll for my video, and I saw this damn bird fly off the fountain, and I spotted it in time where I could follow it. And luckily I had my camera rolling at a high frame rate so I could slow it down in slow motion. And I followed that bird across the castle. It was like a movie scene, man. It was pretty fucking cool. When I sat down to edit that video, I was like, holy shit, that was pretty good timing right there. But yeah, it's cool. There's a lot of gnarly history in that castle. If you Google it, there's a lot of cool YouTube videos about the history of this castle. I mean, you talk about some morbid medieval shit, man. There's like public executions and all kinds of stuff. All right, away from Edinburgh, getting away from people finally. So this is me at the England border. Obviously, this is the official start of the Scottish National Trail. How did I get there? Well, another YouTuber in Scotland by the name of Hounds of Howgate. You should check out his channel. Really cool dude. He's a famous YouTuber over there in Scotland. He picked me up from Edinburgh and took me to the beginning of the trail. I can't remember. It was quite a drive to get there, but it's nearby town. You want to call it a town. It's just this little village in the middle of nowhere farm country called Kirk Yedem. I think, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, but the England border from that town is literally just a 5-minute walk down the road. So he dropped me off in town there, and I obviously had to snap a photo at the border, so I just walked my happy ass back about 5 minutes or so, and got a photo here at the official start at the England border. Northumberland National Park, I guess. It's funny to me that this is actually a national park. I don't know the history about it. Don't get mad at me if you live over there, but it's in the middle of fucking nowhere. I don't know how that was a national park, but protected land nonetheless. But yeah, walked back here, got the photo at the border, and man, it was like I didn't know what to think at the time. I mean, I was in a foreign country, didn't know anything about the trail ahead of me. It was just a very surreal moment, thinking, holy shit, I've never been here before, and here I am, you know, at the England-Scotland border, about to hike across Scotland. It was a very cool, surreal moment for me. But we'll move it not very far, about 7 miles up the trail. This is my very first camp spot, believe it or not, on the Scottish National Trail. Only 7 miles in, I believe, if I remember correctly, but I couldn't tell you the name of this castle. You can look it up. 7 miles from Kirkyedim is where this thing is. You follow a road, and all of a sudden this castle appears. And you know, obviously I didn't want to stop 7 miles in on my first day. I was giddy as can be. I wanted to do some miles, right? But I saw this thing, I'm like, whenever in my life again am I gonna be able to set up my duplex next to a medieval castle? So that's what I did, man. It was just too cool not to pass, or too cool to pass up. So I got here, and I wasn't sure if I was supposed to camp there, but I did anyway. There was an opening at the bottom of the castle, and I wanted to see up inside that shit. There was a damn sheep laying there in the opening. I had to kick his ass out of there, but we kicked him out, and I kind of went on my hands and knees, had to crawl through this little opening in the castle to get up inside there. And I guess my idea at the time was it would be cool as shit to set my tent up in this damn castle, but when I kind of jimmied through there, there's a big ass tree and bushes. It was all overgrown inside there. There was just nowhere to put a tent. Looking back now, it's probably a good idea because I believe in ghosts, and it would have been creepy as shit if I was sleeping in that. And I probably would have heard voices and thought something was going to kill me. So probably a good thing I didn't sleep in there, but I had to go check it out anyway. Very cool view through those little small openings with the sunlight burning through the trees inside the castle. But you look out those windows in this mass farmland, and you're like, damn, that was the view of those people that lived there back in the day. It just puts you in perspective and starts making you think about what it was like for those people actually living there. But my guess was this was fully enclosed at one point in time, that those two structures on either side of the castle were probably a fence line all the way around the damn thing at one point in time. Obviously that part is gone. I don't know what happened to the castle. I don't know what happened to the owners. I don't know anything about it. I just think it's a cool fucking castle, and I got to set up my tent next to it. Obviously you can see the sheep there. There were sheep every fucking where in the country, but I'm guessing they put these sheep here to keep the grass mowed because it is a touristy spot. So I'm sure they just planted some sheep there to keep the grass down. But I was playing later on the trail. I stayed by a couple of these ruins along the trail, and some of these other ones are out in the middle of fucking nowhere, and the sheep are still there, which was creeping me out because it's like, what the fuck are these sheep doing here? It was almost like the ghosts of the family were still there at the castle, and these sheep were just guarding the family. I don't know. It was just very creepy to me, but this was a hell of a night to spend on my first night on trail. I did fly my drone over this thing, which was probably illegal as hell, but I couldn't pass up that opportunity either. Very cool looking back at it now. Another cool landmark along the trail. I can't remember exactly where this was. It was early on the trail, but I can't remember exactly the location. But this three cairns right here are called the Three Brethren. From my understanding, these are to represent three estates back in the day of three families. I want to say they were built way back like 1200s, 1300s. I'm probably butchering. This is all a guess in my head, but I did briefly Google this at one point in time, but that's from my understanding. It was just to mark three territories of three different families in the area. It's up on this big ass hill, and I mean, these cairns are fucking massive. They're probably like 10 foot tall, 8, 9, 10, 12 foot tall. I don't know, but they're massive. To carry all those rocks up there and build these things must have taken a shit ton of time, but they're beautiful. I edited this photo very drastically. Obviously the sky was not like this color, but I thought it was a cool way to edit this photo. I play around with my images, almost like make them look like artwork a lot of times, just adds to a dramatic mood. You do see the fog rolling up over the mountains in the backdrop. I thought it was cool to edit it this way, but alright then, now so the trail gets really fucking cool, man. Not to say the southern portion of the Scottish National Trail is boring. You're just in and out of towns, and you don't feel very remote. You're just in and out of towns every day, so you don't feel like you're on a hiking trail. Once you get up into the Scottish Highlands, I mean, it is absolutely fucking gorgeous. It was a little weird for me seeing, I mean, the mountains are beautiful, obviously, but there's no trees. You can see a little patch of trees off in the far right hand corner there, but just seeing these mountain peaks, it was different from what I've ever experienced. Seeing these beautiful mountains but no trees on them, I guess to some people it would look depressing, almost like the moon but green. I thought it looked very cool, but yeah, just seeing not seeing very many trees was a little depressing, I suppose. But this particular shot right here, I do remember hoofing up on this hill, and the trail there was no trail at this point. The trail is in front of what you see right there. Basically, I just checked the map and I had to hoof it down this valley. You might be able to, you might not be able to, but there's a little river valley right there below. So basically, I knew I had to cross that river at some point in time, so I finally just took the path of least resistance and started hoofing it down this mountain. Unfortunately, the grass was so tall through here, I could not see the ground, and there was all these roots and rocks, and it was just, I tripped constantly trying to make it down this damn river. What should have probably taken me 15 minutes took me about an hour and a half, I think, to actually get down to the bottom of this river. It was a very long day too, considering what I had been hiking at this point. I think I did 21 or 22 this day, and I remember finally getting down to that river and walking across and wading across that river. The water on my feet just felt so damn amazing. They were just, and hadn't it taken me so long to get down there, I was like, just get me to the fucking water. I was thirsty. I just want to lay down in that fucking river. But walking across after a long 20-mile day, man, that water, it was nice and cool. The sun was setting. It was getting cooler in the evening. It just felt amazing on my feet. Up here on top, obviously, I got lucked out with the sheep right there. I probably try to get way closer and took a million images of these sheep, but it's hard to pick them out because I think I used my 16 to 35 wide angle on this because I want to get most of the landscape, but you can still spot the sheep in the image, which just adds to it. I think puts it in perspective how massive this landscape actually is. But I mean, fucking Scotland, it's just so fucking beautiful up there. There's no people. It's the greatest part of Scotland. There's no people up there, man. I don't know how. This is one of my favorite images I took in Scotland, actually. I love taking photos of moving water at a longer shutter speed, man. Just getting that moving water, freezing it like that. Well, I guess not freezing, but drawing out the water so it looks like it's moving in the image. This scene just was made to take this photo. Getting to the actual location to take this shot, I do remember being the pain in the ass. Basically, I think this is actually after I crossed that river and you walk a dirt road along this river here. But I saw this tree. You can actually make out the fence post in the top right hand part of the image there. But I spotted this tree on the other side of the fence in the river. I'm like, that would be a cool fucking image. You can just see how the branches in the tree has grown to shape the river like that. It was just perfect. So I hopped the fence and I actually slipped in some sheep shit, I remember. It fell on my ass and I had sheep shit all over my ass from doing that, but I didn't care because I'm like, I saw this image. I'm like, okay, this was worth it, even with sheep shit on me. But yeah, I kind of moseyed down this river here. I think I had to set my tripod up in the moving water, which I was kind of eerie about because if I lost my camera, I was fucked. But I thought it was worth the risk. So I got up in the water, set my tripod, and I kind of tried to get it as stable as possible. And then the sun was setting in the background, nice moody sky, and I just started slamming off photos. I probably took 30 or 40 images until the sun was just about down. And this is the one I settled on. It's just a beautiful, well-balanced image with the water in the foreground leading you up to the tree and then the mountains on the left side. That's what I've learned doing photography now for like 5-6 years. I've gotten better at seeing a landscape and being able to position myself and realizing what the image will be if it were to hang it on your wall. It's all about balance. When I follow these photographers on YouTube, these professional guys, you notice every image they took, there's a balance to it. It's not just like if I took a picture of this tree and the mountains were directly behind it, there's just too much space on either end, but you want to balance it from left to right, top to bottom if you can. And so it should be a leading line leading you through the photograph. So you can see I focused on this rock and right at the front of the image, which leads you up the river to the tree, and then from the tree it leads you left along the river up to the mountains. So it's a lot of nerdy camera stuff, but I get excited about when I take images like that, when everything kind of comes together. All right, let's move on up to one of the many beautiful camp spots I had on the trail. What I remember about this camp spot was I did not want to camp here initially. So if you see those trees on the right hand side of the image, the trail kind of veers right of those trees just beyond them, and you're hiking through this big ass valley right along this river. Well, I'm walking away from the sunset, and I kept turning around looking as the sun was dipping. I'm like, this is a cool spot for, this would be an amazing spot for a sunset shot. So I kept thinking, okay, I'll camp here, but then I wasn't ready to stop, so I'll just push a little bit farther. As I'm hiking through this valley, I'm like, okay, eventually I'll just get near the end of this valley and I'll stop and take a photo, and the sunset should just be about there. Well, I finally get to the end of this valley, and there's a farmhouse there. This farmer had lived there, and as a dumb American like I don't know, it's called dumb American. As an American hiker, we're used to here seeing no trespassing signs everywhere. Do not get off my damn lawn or I will put a shotgun shell in your ass kind of a situation. So you just don't camp near people's property here in the States. Over here, and I don't think I knew this at the time, maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but it was still weird to me. What they have over there, and much of Europe is like this, is right to roam. Meaning you can basically set up your tent anywhere you want within reason, as long as you're not an asshole and you clean up after yourself. So I was going to camp near this farmhouse to get a beautiful shot of the sunset, but then I'm thinking in my head, well, I don't want to camp on somebody's property because I'm not used to doing that. So I just pushed it a little bit farther, and it brought me around this tree bend here, and then the trail kind of veered left. Once I started going uphill, I lost track of the beautiful sunset shot that I wanted to get. So I'm like, oh fuck. By the time I had put in like 20 something miles and I was just ready to be done. So this is just past that guy's farmhouse up on the hill there. There was a couple sheep that were fucking with me all night long on this. But you can see I'm right next to this road here. It just follows uphill and brought me over to the other side to a beautiful lake the next day. But it was a little tough camping here only because, you know, I found a little bit of stretch, but the grass is very tall. There was a lot of condensation around there, but the sunset light behind me there, you can see in the mountains, was beautiful, even though I didn't get a view of the actual sun dipping down behind the mountains. It is still a beautiful image. I really enjoy that one. All right, well, this is a pretty cool image right here. How often have you guys seen something like this before? It was pretty amazing, man. Very wide open landscape. It reminded me a lot of walking through like Wyoming or something like that, just wide open scenery when you first enter Wyoming on the CDT. But it was obviously the rain clouds in the background. It just kept raining off and on. There's just storm wave after storm wave on this stretch of trail. And I remember seeing this rainbow the first time. It wasn't a full wraparound rainbow, but it was partial. It was still beautiful. And I went to go really quick set up my camera, and by the time I got everything set up, the rainbow disappeared. I'm like, fuck, I missed my opportunity. Well, you just keep walking along this big ass road, and every time this wave of the storm came by, a new rainbow would appear. And this was probably the third time I set up my camera. Finally, I think I took this handheld actually because I didn't want to miss the opportunity this time. So I shot it handheld. At least I got some of the road. I was trying to make it balanced in that it would have been really cool if the road was in dead center of the rainbow. Obviously, I'm nitpicking at this point, but you take what you can get. I still got a little bit of the road in the shot, but got the full rainbow. It was just very cool, man. I saw this same rainbow probably 3 or 4 times that day, walking along this barren road across this vast landscape. Pretty fucking cool, man. All right, let's move it on up to Fort Augustus, man, home of the Loch Ness Monster. This is the infamous Loch Ness right here at Fort. Is it Port Augustus or Fort Augustus? I can't remember the name of the town. Either way, it was crazy. I was looking forward to Loch Ness just because it's, you know what I mean, the infamous Loch Ness Monster and all that shit. It is just very fucking touristy. There's no way around it. It's just a very touristy spot. That town was very cool though. They had a beautiful river walk through. I think I flew my drone over there as well and got a little bit of Loch Ness from my drone. It's a very narrow, long lake. I didn't realize that until before I hiked down into the lake where the town is. I was up top and I could see Loch Ness from above on the mountains. And I just remembered to myself, man, that's a fucking skinny, long ass lake. It is very long. I can't remember the length of it, but it's a big one. But yeah, I get down there and I was hungry as shit. I remember they had a bunch of touristy restaurants there, but I was so fucking hungry. Typically when I know I'm going into town, I skip breakfast so I can gorge myself when I get to a restaurant. So I skipped breakfast, I think, that day, thinking I'm gonna go in town and get a nice cheeseburger or something. Well, to my luck, I show up there on the day of the Queen's funeral. The Queen Elizabeth had died, as you know. This is when I was hiking the trail. I didn't know any of this was going on, really, because I was out in the middle of no cell service. I kept getting DMs while on trail, like, what's going on with the Queen? What's going on with the Queen? I'm like, I don't know. I don't work for fucking CNN here. You probably know more than I do. I'm sleeping in my fucking tent. But I got to at Loch Ness here on the day of the Queen's funeral, so everything was shut down. I was so fucking hungry, and the restaurants weren't opening until later in the evening, like 4 or 5. So I had to wait there. I'm like, that fucking Queen. I know it's a big deal for them, so don't get me wrong, but it was just bad timing on my part. But walked down to the lake to kill time, and I had to get a photo. It's just the touristy thing to do. This is something very similar to, like, let's say Mount Washington up in New Hampshire, where you have a line of people waiting to get your photo by the sign. It was very similar here. I probably waited behind 3 people to get my photo here. And I'm getting to my spot. It was just very awkward for me because I don't like other people taking my photo for me. I want to do it for myself. So while I have a bunch of these tourists watching me, I'm setting up my tripod and then getting out on this fucking rock and just trying to do all these poses and get a few images so one will actually work. And I just felt very stupid doing that. But I wanted to get a shot next to the lake, and that's what I did. I think it turned out very well. All these shots of Scotland, you just have the moody skies all the time. I absolutely love that scene. So it turned out well. I thought I probably could have composed it a little better, but I was just feeling very awkward with people watching me do this at the time. But very cool nonetheless. This image right here, this is no joke, one of my favorite stretches of trail I've ever hiked in my life. This stretch of trail was so fucking beautiful. I mean, the image kind of speaks for itself. Look at those fucking mountains, man. They're just lush, green, just beautiful peaks. It was just so cool. And the trail kind of weaves down and up and down and up through these mountains. It was just so beautiful. You can see the waterfall off in the back left corner there. There was a few waterfalls along that stretch of trail. I do remember, though, it rained a shit ton through there. It was another one of those days where it was just a wave of rain. It would stop, get sunny, and then a wave of rain would come again. It sucks for me because, especially on stretches like this, where as a photographer I just want to take photos of everything. I want to be able to take my time and set up shots. And when it's raining, I just got to bury my camera in my pack. Typically, if I'm on a boring stretch of trail and this happens, I really don't care as much. I'll stash my camera and I'll just walk. Okay, walk through the rain. It doesn't bother me to walk through the rain. But as somebody who wants to take photos, when it rains like this during one of these stretches, I will sit by the trail in the fucking rain and I will not fucking move until it stops raining. Exactly what I did here too. I remember it started downpouring on me for like 10 minutes. There's no tree cover. I just sat on this moss and just got pissed on. And I didn't care. I wanted to wait until the storm passed so I could take photo after photo after photo. I'm glad I did because I got some cool shots through this stretch. This particular image here, kind of a pain in the ass to set up because you can see the distance I am from the camera. But again, this was taken with my 70-200 to get some compression within the scene. I am very far away from my camera in this shot. It was a pain in the ass to focus. I did the same thing as before. I went up to that rock there you see me standing on. I set my trekking pole up, walked back and focused on the trekking pole, and then, you know, me being so far away, I wasn't too concerned about it being in focus, but I wanted to do the best I could, obviously. So it took me a few tries of walking back and forth to where I got what I was proud of. But I'm glad I did. It turned out well. Having a person in the image of a shot like this puts everything into perspective of how massive these mountains are and how beautiful they are. When you see how small I am in the shot, it just puts everything in perspective. I love shots like that. When you see on Instagram, you see a solo person just out in the middle of nowhere in this wide open or beautiful landscape, and you just see how small they are in the shot. It shows off how beautiful Mother Nature is in a shot like this. Alright guys, we'll do one more in this video. We're going to move it all the way to the end of the trail. There's plenty more I can go back and talk in another video for you guys. I'm just kind of moving through these, but this is at the very end of the trail, kind of, sort of. Some of you probably know the story, but I'll explain to you for those of you who don't know. The Scottish National Trail, it goes all the way across Scotland from Kirk Yetholm, the English border, all the way up to Cape Wrath. There's a big, beautiful lighthouse there at the Atlantic Ocean, and that's where the trail finishes. Now, the Royal Navy likes to do live fire exercises at Cape Wrath quite often throughout the year. They have a bulletin posted miles before you get there of their schedule. Well, bad timing on my part. I missed the cutoff by 2 days. I had 2 more days to go and they were going to do some live firing and I wasn't quite there yet. So this is probably, I would say, 15 miles from the lighthouse, okay? It would be a beautiful spot to finish. And looking back, I wish I would have just ended my hike here. I did end up going a little farther, but this is a perfect spot to end that trail. If you come across a situation, if you're hiking the Scottish National Trail and you're like, fuck, the Royal Navy's firing off cannonballs and I can't get to the end, don't sweat it. Finish your hike here at the Atlantic Ocean. It's a cool spot to finish, man. I did hang by the beach here for a little while, but I got some photographs, obviously. I did not fly my drone because I was paranoid about it falling in the ocean, so I didn't fly my drone over here, but I did set up with my 7200 again. It was very difficult getting this shot only because it was extremely windy. You could see the grass in the foreground blowing to the side there. My tripod kept falling over. I thought I was going to break my camera a couple times because it did fall with my camera on at one time. Luckily it did not break, but I really had to dig in my tripod to get this shot. But I'm glad I did because I got a nice some compression there with the foreground and the front, the ocean, and then those rock formations in the back. I thought it all came together very well. But yeah, awesome spot there at the Atlantic. Beautiful beach. It would be nice as a family vacation just to hang out that beach. Beautiful hike leading up to the Atlantic there. Yeah, I highly recommend that little stretch of the Cape Rat Trail, just doing to that beach. I can't remember the name of the beach there. Forgive me for that, but I'm sure if you Google it, you'll find it. There you go, boys and girls. We'll leave you there. Hope you got something. Enjoy this video. I love talking about these images. I love reminiscing about these images. Again, this is why I do what I do. It's not only to bring the trail to you guys, which is part of it, obviously, but when I started doing all this, I did it for myself. So I knew years from now, when I'm old and decrepit, I'm going to want to look back at these memories from time to time. And I'm still doing it now as I'm still living this life. It just feels good to go back and relive some of these moments, especially when I'm stuck here in a town working my life away and I can't be out on trail. It feels good to be able to go back to these images and these videos and relive the experience. And I highly recommend to anyone who does any of these through hikes or shore hikes, weekend trips, whatever you do, document it. You know, I know YouTubers and Instagrammers and all these fucking influencers, they get bad names, like put your phones away, just enjoy nature. Well, yes, I get it, okay? And I get annoyed sometimes by myself and others doing that. But again, it's worth it when you get home off these trips and you can relive them. It's just it's a nice thing to have. It's almost like a souvenir you're taking with you. So highly recommend it, guys. It is hot as balls in this apartment. I got to get my air conditioner on. This is your boy Ivy Tat. We'll holler at you fuckers later.